One final warning from Earth. Leave now, or perish, the arrival of the Krell Dominion. The Krell Dominion had existed for over 3,000 years. Their empire stretched across 200 star systems. They had conquered 473 different species. Some species surrendered quickly. Others fought back with desperation. None had ever won. Overlord Thrain stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Conquest. The ship was massive, larger than most moons. Its hull was made from materials harvested from dead stars. Its weapons could crack planets in half. Around it, 900 warships waited in perfect formation. This was the largest fleet the Krell had ever assembled. They did not expect to need it all. Before them hung a small yellow star. The third planet from that star glowed blue and green. Preliminary scans showed it was covered in water and land. Perfect for Krell habitation. Even better, it was already inhabited by a species that could be put to work. The species called themselves humans. They were young, barely 200 years into space exploration. They had built small colonies on their moon and the fourth planet. Nothing impressive. Nothing that suggested they could resist the Dominion. Thrain had studied thousands of species during his 500 years of service. He knew how to read a civilization's strength. These humans were weak. His intelligence officer approached with a datapad. Overlord, we have completed our analysis of their military capabilities. They possess approximately 80 combat vessels. All of them are primitive fusion drive ships. Their weapons are chemical explosives and basic energy projectors. They have defensive installations around their homeworld and colonies, but nothing that could challenge even one of our destroyers. Thrain nodded slowly. This would be simple. What is their population? 8 billion on the homeworld. Another 2 million scattered across their colonies. They have unified under a single government within the last century. Before that, they were divided into competing nations. Recent unification, Thrain mused. That means they are still learning to work together. Good, that makes them easier to control. He turned to his communications officer. Open all channels. I will speak to these humans now. The message was broadcast on every frequency that humans used. Radio waves, quantum signals, even primitive electromagnetic transmissions. Within minutes, it reached Earth. The signal traveled at light speed, taking 8 minutes to cross the distance between the Krell fleet and the blue planet. On Earth, in the city of New Geneva, the United Terran Council was in emergency session. Representatives from every nation sat in a circular chamber built to symbolize unity. They had been unified for only 75 years. The memory of the last war still haunted them. That war had almost destroyed humanity. Nuclear fire had consumed cities. Biological weapons had created plagues. In the end, only 5 billion people survived out of 10 billion. From those ashes, humanity had learned a terrible lesson. They learned that division meant extinction. They learned that survival required sacrifice. They learned that the only way forward was together. President Marcus Webb sat at the center of the council chamber. He was 60 years old with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been president for only 2 years, but those eyes had seen more than most people saw in a lifetime. He had been a soldier in the last war. He had watched cities burn. He had carried wounded children through radioactive wastelands. He knew what humanity was capable of, both the worst and the best. The chamber's main screen flickered to life. An alien face appeared. It was reptilian with scales that shimmered like oil on water. Eyes like molten gold stared out from the screen. The creature wore armor that seemed to be made of living metal. People of Earth, the alien spoke in perfect English, though his mouth did not match the words. Translation technology. I am Overlord Thrain of the Krell Dominion. Your solar system has been chosen for integration into our empire. You have 48 hours to accept our terms. The council chamber erupted in shocked voices. Some delegates shouted in fear. Others demanded immediate military response. President Webb raised his hand for silence. The chamber gradually quieted. Thrain continued. Our terms are simple. You will provide 50% of all resources produced on your planet. You will destroy all military vessels and weapons. You will accept Krell governors to oversee your compliance. In return, we will allow your species to continue existing. You will be workers in our empire. You will be protected. You will be fed. You will serve. The alien leaned closer to the camera. Do not be foolish. We have conquered 473 species. Some surrendered peacefully and lived comfortable lives. Others resisted and suffered greatly before accepting the inevitable. Choose wisdom. Choose survival. You have 48 hours. The screen went dark. For a long moment, nobody spoke. The weight of the message pressed down on every person in the chamber. 8 billion lives hung in the balance. The choice they made in the next hours would determine the fate of humanity. General Sophia Reeves stood up. She was 55 years old, tall and strong, with short black hair and sharp green eyes. She had been the supreme commander of Terran Defense Forces for 10 years. "Mr. President, I need to speak with you privately now." President Webb nodded. They walked to a secure room behind the council chamber. The walls were lined with technology that prevented any surveillance. Once inside, General Reeves activated a holographic display. "Marcus," she said, dropping the formal title. They had known each other since the last war. They had fought side by side in the ruins of Moscow. "It is time to tell them about Silent Sentinel." Webb closed his eyes. He had hoped this day would never come. "Are you certain?" "We always knew this was possible," Reeves said. "We always knew that eventually someone out there would see us as prey. That is why we built it. That is why every president for the last 150 years has kept the secret." "How many people know the truth?" Webb asked. "Fully? Maybe 5,000 across the entire system. Scientists, engineers, military commanders. Everyone else sees parts of the puzzle, but not the whole picture." Reeves pulled up images on the display. Research stations that are really weapons platforms. Mining operations that conceal military installations. Communication satellites that can become kinetic bombardment systems. "We have spent 150 years preparing for this exact scenario." Webb looked at the images. Generation after generation of humanity working in secret. Building, planning, preparing. All while the rest of the species believed they were simply exploring space, conducting science, mining asteroids for resources. "The Council needs to vote," Webb said finally. "I cannot activate Silent Sentinel without their approval." "Then we need to tell them what it is," Reeves replied. "We need to tell them everything." They returned to the council chamber. President Webb stood before the assembled representatives. "What I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest level. Some of you will be angry that this was kept secret, but after you hear the full story, you will understand why." He activated the main display. A map of the solar system appeared. Red dots covered everything. Thousands upon thousands of red dots surrounding every planet, every moon, every major asteroid. "After the last war, our ancestors made a decision," Webb began. "They decided that humanity would never again be helpless. They decided that if we survived, if we rebuilt, we would make ourselves so dangerous that no one would dare attack us. They created something called Silent Sentinel." He zoomed in on various red dots. Each one revealed a hidden installation. "Every research station we have built in space has a secondary purpose. Every mining colony contains weapons. Every communication satellite can become a missile platform. We have turned our entire solar system into a fortress." The council members stared in disbelief. The Australian delegate stood up. "You are saying we have been militarizing space for over a century? Without public knowledge?" "Yes," Webb said simply. "Because if the public knew, if our potential enemies knew, the weapons would lose their effectiveness. Silent Sentinel only works if it remains silent until the moment it is needed." General Reeves stepped forward. "We have gravitational disruptors hidden in the asteroid belt that can trap entire fleets. We have quantum mines that can phase through shields. We have neural network weapons that can disable enemy computers. We have kinetic platforms that can accelerate projectiles to 95% of light speed. And we have the solar lance." "What is the solar lance?" asked the Chinese delegate. Reeves pulled up an image of the sun. Around it, barely visible, was a network of satellites. "We built a cage around our star. These satellites can focus solar energy into a concentrated beam. The sun itself becomes our weapon. Nothing can withstand it, nothing." The chamber fell into stunned silence. The Brazilian delegate finally spoke. "This is insane. This is wonderful. This is terrifying. How did we keep this secret?" "Compartmentalization," Webb explained. Each project appeared peaceful. A solar collection network for energy, mining operations for resources, research stations for science. Only a few people knew how all the pieces fit together. Only a few people knew we were building something that could destroy any attacker. The Russian delegate stood. "So what do we do now? Do we surrender? Do we activate these weapons? Do we tell the Krell about what we have? We give them a warning, Webb said. His voice was steady and cold. We give them one chance to leave peacefully. We tell them the truth. We tell them to depart now, or they will perish. And if they ignore the warning, ask the Indian delegate. General Reeves smiled, but there was no humor in it. Then we show them why humans are still here after nearly destroying ourselves. We show them what a species learns when it survives extinction. We show them that we are not prey. The vote was taken. It was not unanimous, but it was decisive. 47 nations voted yes. 8 voted no. 3 abstained. The authorization was given. President Webb returned to the communications center. He sat before the camera that would broadcast his message to the Krell fleet. He thought about his grandchildren. He thought about every child on Earth. He thought about the billions of people who trusted him to make the right choice. The camera activated. His message would take 8 minutes to reach the Krell fleet. 8 minutes before everything changed. Overlord Thrain, Webb said clearly, I am President Marcus Webb of the United Terran Council. We have received your ultimatum. We reject it completely. We will not surrender. We will not serve. We will not become part of your empire. He leaned forward, his eyes hard. I am extending to you a single warning. This is your only chance. Leave our solar system immediately. Take your fleet and never return. If you refuse, if you attack, you will not survive. This is not a bluff. This is not empty bravado. This is a promise. Webb paused, letting his words carry weight. You see us as primitive. You see us as weak. You are wrong. We are survivors. We nearly destroyed ourselves, and we learned from that experience. We rebuilt. We prepared. We made ourselves into something you cannot imagine. Leave now, Overlord Thrain. Leave now or perish in our storm. The message ended. It traveled through space at light speed. 8 minutes of waiting. 8 minutes of silence. 8 minutes before the Krell heard Earth's final warning. On the bridge of the Eternal Conquest, Overlord Thrain received the message. He listened to it once. Then he listened again. Then he began to laugh. His officers joined him. The bridge filled with mocking laughter. These primitives threaten us, Thrain said between laughs. They have 80 ships. We have 900. They have never left their star system. We rule 200. They think they can stand against the Krell Dominion. His tactical officer smiled. Should we respond, Overlord? Thrain wiped his eyes. No, we will not waste words on them. We will show them what happens to species that refuse the Dominion's mercy. Send the forward battle group. 500 ships. Crush their defenses. Destroy their orbital installations. But leave the planet intact. We need workers, after all. 500 Krell warships broke formation. They accelerated toward Earth, their engines burning bright against the darkness of space. They moved with confidence. They moved with certainty. They moved toward their doom. On Earth, General Reeves watched the approaching fleet on her tactical display. She stood in a command center buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around her, hundreds of officers prepared for battle. They had trained for this moment their entire lives. Their parents had trained for it. Their grandparents had trained for it. 500 ships, her tactical officer reported. They are leaving 400 in reserve near Jupiter. Reeves nodded. They are overconfident. They think this will be easy. How long until they reach Mars orbit? 18 hours at current speed. Good, that gives us time. She opened a communication channel that reached every military installation in the solar system. Her voice was calm and clear. All stations, this is General Reeves. Silent Sentinel is now active. I repeat, Silent Sentinel is active. All personnel move to combat positions. This is not a drill. Humanity stands at the edge of extinction or triumph. Let us show the galaxy who we are. Across the solar system, hidden systems came to life. Systems that had waited silently for 150 years. Systems built by generations of engineers who hoped they would never be needed. Systems designed to turn humanity's home into an unbreakable fortress. The Krell fleet continued toward Earth. They thought they were hunting prey. They did not know they were walking into a trap. They did not know that humanity had spent 150 years preparing for invaders. They did not know that humans, having nearly destroyed themselves, knew exactly how to destroy others. The countdown had begun. Earth had given its warning. The Krell had laughed at it. Soon, very soon, they would learn why that was a mistake. They would learn that a species that survives its own extinction is the most dangerous species in the galaxy. The Krell's fatal mistake. The Krell Forward Battle Group crossed the orbit of Mars 18 hours after receiving Earth's warning. 500 warships moved in perfect formation. Each ship bristled with weapons that had destroyed countless civilizations. Their shields glowed with energy that could deflect any conventional attack. The crews aboard those ships felt invincible. Commander Zek stood on the bridge of his battle cruiser, the Iron Dominance. He was second in command of the forward group, a veteran of 50 conquests. This would be his 51st. He looked at the red planet Mars as they passed. Human colonies dotted its surface. Small domes and underground facilities. Pathetic, really, Commander, his sensor officer called out. The human defense fleet is moving. They are leaving Earth orbit. Zek pulled up the tactical display. 80 human ships, small and primitive, accelerated away from their homeworld. For a moment, he thought they might attack. Then he saw their trajectory. They were fleeing, running away toward the outer system. Cowards, his weapons officer spat. They abandoned their own planet, Zek smiled. As expected. They know they cannot win. All ships continue toward Earth. Destroy any orbital installations you encounter. We will teach these humans the price of defiance. But in the command center beneath Earth's Rocky Mountains, General Reeves watched the same tactical display with different eyes. She saw the Krell fleet moving exactly where she wanted them. She saw her own ships pulling back to safety just as planned. Everything was proceeding perfectly. They think we are running, her tactical officer observed. Let them think that, Reeves replied. Pride is our greatest weapon against them. How long until they reach the engagement zone? 4 hours, General. Reeves turned to President Webb, who stood beside her. Mr. President, this is the final moment. Once we activate the first layer, there is no going back. The Krell will know what we are. The entire galaxy will know. Webb's face was grave. Do it, General. Show them what humanity has become. Reeves nodded. She opened a secure channel. All stations begin activation sequence. Phase 1, gravitational nets. Phase 2, quantum mines. Phase 3, kinetic platforms. Engage on my mark. Across the asteroid belt, systems awoke. The belt contained millions of asteroids, rocks, and metals floating between Mars and Jupiter. But hidden among them were humanity's first line of defense. Gravitational disruptors, built over decades and disguised as mining equipment. The technology was based on exotic matter that humanity had discovered 40 years ago. It could bend space itself, creating wells of intense gravity. The Krell fleet was about to discover what that meant. Commander Zek's fleet entered the asteroid belt at high speed. They had plotted a course that avoided the largest rocks. Standard procedure. Nothing seemed wrong. Then his ship lurched sideways. What was that? Zek demanded. Unknown force, Commander. His helm officer replied, struggling with controls. We are being pulled off course. By what? There is nothing on sensors. But there was. The gravitational disruptors activated throughout the belt. Invisible wells of twisted space appeared around the Krell ships. The vessels tried to maneuver. Their engines burned at full power. Nothing worked. They were caught, trapped like insects in a web. All ships report, Zek ordered, his voice tight with fear for the first time. Reports flooded in. Every ship in the forward group was caught. 500 warships unable to move, frozen in space by forces they could not see or understand. On Earth, General Reeves watched the tactical display. Every Krell ship showed red, indicating they were trapped. Phase 2, she said calmly. Activate quantum mines. Throughout the asteroid belt, mines that had waited in quantum superposition became real. They had existed in multiple places at once, impossible to detect. Now they resolved into single locations, appearing inside the Krell formation. The mines were not like conventional explosives. When they detonated, they did not create fire or shrapnel. Instead, they released quantum disruption waves. These waves interfered with the fundamental forces that held matter together. 50 Krell ships simply came apart. Hulls separated into individual atoms. Shields collapsed. Crews did not even have time to scream. One moment they existed. The next moment, nothing remained but clouds of dissociated particles. Commander Zek watched in horror as ships around him dissolved into atomic dust. Return fire. Target anything. Everything. His weapons officer looked at him with panic in his eyes. Commander, we cannot target what we cannot see. The mines are cloaked until detonation. We have no defense. Another wave of mines detonated. 70 more ships disappeared. The Krell forward group, once 500 strong, was now reduced to 380 vessels. And they still could not move. On the eternal conquest far behind the battle, Overlord Thrain watched the destruction in disbelief. "This is impossible." "Our intelligence said they were primitive." "Clearly our intelligence was wrong, Overlord," his second officer said quietly. Thrain's face twisted with rage. "Send reinforcements. Send 200 ships. Overwhelming force. We will crush them." But General Reeves was not finished. "Phase 3, she ordered. Activate kinetic platforms." Hidden among Earth's orbital satellites were weapons that appeared to be simple communication relays. In reality, they were railguns of incredible power. Each platform contained tungsten rods, each rod the size of a telephone pole. The rods were launched using electromagnetic acceleration. In less than a second, the rods reached 95% of light speed. At that velocity, mass became a weapon more powerful than any explosive. When a kinetic rod struck a Krell ship, it passed through shields as if they did not exist. Shields were designed to deflect energy, not solid matter moving at relativistic speeds. The rod punched through the hull, creating a channel of superheated plasma. The ship's internal atmosphere exploded outward. The vessel broke apart from the inside. 100 platforms fired simultaneously. 100 rods streaked across the solar system. 100 Krell ships died in less than 10 seconds. Commander Zek's ship was hit. The rod passed through the engineering section. Every system failed at once. Life support, weapons, shields, engines, everything. Emergency lighting flickered on. Zek could hear his crew screaming. "Damage report," he shouted. "Engineering is gone, Commander. 90% casualties in that section. We are venting atmosphere. We have no propulsion." 200 Krell reinforcements entered the engagement zone. They had seen what happened to the forward group. They came in with shields at maximum, weapons ready, sensors scanning for threats. They found the threats everywhere. General Reeves activated the neural network weapons. These were humanity's most insidious creation. The Krell relied heavily on artificial intelligence to coordinate their fleets. Their ships were networked together, sharing data and tactical information in real time. This made them efficient. It also made them vulnerable. The neural network weapons were advanced computer viruses wrapped in quantum encryption. When they infected a Krell ship's computer, they did not destroy it. Instead, they reprogrammed it. Subtly, carefully, Krell ships began firing on each other. Friend or foe identification systems failed. Navigation computers sent vessels on collision courses. Weapons targeted allied ships. Chaos spread through the reinforcement group like wildfire. 60 ships destroyed by their own allies before the Krell commanders realized what was happening. They shut down their networks, cutting off the AI coordination that made their fleet effective. Now each ship operated independently, without tactical support. President Webb watched the battle unfold on the main screen. "How many have we lost?" "0 casualties so far, Mr. President," an officer reported. "All our ships are outside the engagement zone. All our weapons are automated or remotely operated." Webb felt a cold satisfaction. 150 years of preparation, generations of people working in secret. It was all paying off. On the eternal conquest, Overlord Thrain's confidence had vanished. "Recall all ships. Retreat to Jupiter orbit. We need to reassess," but General Reeves was not letting them go. "Phase 4, she ordered. Activate hunter drones." What the Krell had thought was space debris floating through the asteroid belt was actually thousands of autonomous drones. Each drone was small, about the size of a human torso. They had been placed throughout the belt over decades, camouflaged as rocks and ice. Now they activated. Their engines fired. They swarmed toward the trapped and damaged Krell vessels like wolves descending on wounded prey. The drones did not carry explosive warheads. Instead, each one contained a shaped plasma charge designed to burn through armor. They attached to Krell hulls and cut their way inside. Once inside, they released chemical agents that reacted with the Krell atmosphere, creating toxic gas. The drones were too small for the Krell's weapons to target effectively. Anti-fighter systems could not track them. Point defense lasers overheated trying to stop the swarm. Within minutes, 30 more Krell ships were compromised, their crews suffocating. Commander Zek watched drones cutting into his ship's hull. He had been a warrior for 200 years. He had conquered 30 star systems personally. Never had he felt helpless. Never had he felt terror. Until now, a communication channel opened. A human face appeared on his screen. A woman with sharp eyes and graying hair. She wore a military uniform. "General Sophia Reeves, Commander," she said in perfect Krell language. "Your fleet is defeated. You entered our system with 500 ships. You now have fewer than 200 operational vessels. Your gravitational trap will hold you for 6 more hours. In that time, we can destroy every remaining ship. Or you can surrender," Zek stared at her. "You cannot do this. We are the Krell Dominion. We have ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. You ruled because you never encountered a species like us." Reeves replied. "We are humans. We nearly destroyed ourselves. We learned from that experience. We learned that survival requires sacrifice. We learned that peace requires strength. We learned that the only way to prevent extinction is to make extinction-level weapons." She leaned closer to the camera. "We gave your overlord a warning. He laughed at us. Now 300 of your ships are destroyed. 300 crews dead, all because he did not believe we were serious. What do you want?" Zek asked, his voice hollow. "Nothing. We want nothing from you. We want you to leave and never return. But first I want you to understand what you attacked." Reeves pulled up images on the screen. "Every weapon we used against you was designed specifically for this scenario. We spent 150 years preparing for invaders. We turned our entire solar system into a trap. And we have not even shown you our most powerful weapon yet." "What weapon?" Zek asked, though part of him did not want to know. Reeves smiled. "The sun." She activated another display. The star at the center of Earth's solar system appeared. Around it, thousands of satellites formed a cage. We call it the solar lance. Those satellites can focus our star's energy into a beam. The beam carries the temperature and radiation of the sun's surface. It can reach anywhere in the inner solar system. It can destroy anything. Zek felt his blood run cold. You cannot weaponize a star. That is impossible. We learned a long time ago, Commander, that impossible just means nobody has done it yet. We did it. We spent 40 years building the solar lance. We tested it on abandoned asteroids. It vaporizes anything it touches. Overlord Thrane's face suddenly appeared on the screen, interrupting their conversation. "Commander Zek, this is Overlord Thrane. I'm ordering a full retreat. All ships withdraw to the outer system immediately." "Overlord," Zek said, "we cannot withdraw. We are trapped," General Reeves spoke. "Overlord Thrane, I will release your ships on one condition. You will take Commander Zek and all survivors back to your empire. You will tell them what happened here. You will tell every species in the Krell Dominion that Earth is not prey. We are not weak. We are not targets. If anyone attacks us, we will destroy them." Thrane's reptilian face showed an emotion Zek had never seen before. Fear. "And if we refuse? Then we activate the solar lance. We burn every ship in this system. None of you will survive to tell anyone what happened. Your empire will send more fleets to investigate. We will destroy them too. Eventually, the Krell Dominion will learn to avoid our system, but only after we kill thousands of your people." She paused. "Or you can accept our terms. Leave now. Spread the word. Tell the galaxy that humanity gave you a warning. You ignored it, and you paid the price. Tell them that we do not conquer. We do not invade. But if anyone threatens us, we will show them what it means to fight a species that nearly destroyed itself." The bridge of the eternal conquest was silent. Overlord Thrane looked at his tactical displays. He saw the destroyed ships. He saw the trapped vessels. He saw the weapons that had appeared from nowhere. For the first time in his 500 years of life, he felt small. "I accept your terms," he said quietly. General Reeves nodded. "The gravitational nets will deactivate in 10 minutes. You will have a 12-hour window to collect survivors and leave our system. If any Krell ship remains after 12 hours, we will destroy it. Am I clear?" "You are clear." 10 minutes later, the gravitational traps released. The surviving Krell ships, battered and powerless, drifted free. Rescue vessels moved among them, collecting escape pods and damaged ships. The proud fleet that had entered Earth's system was now a broken remnant. Commander Zek stood on what remained of his bridge, watching his crew being evacuated. He thought about all the species he had conquered. He thought about how easy it had been. He thought about how the Krell had grown arrogant. A young warrior approached him. "Commander, why did they let us go? They could have killed us all." The message to the galaxy 3 months passed since the Battle of Earth, as historians were already calling it. The debris fields in the asteroid belt had been cleared. The weapon systems remained active but silent, waiting for the next threat. On Earth, life slowly returned to normal, though nothing would ever be truly the same. President Marcus Webb stood before the United Terran Council once again. The same representatives who had authorized Silent Sentinel now gathered to discuss the aftermath. The chamber was quieter than before. Everyone understood that humanity had crossed a threshold. They had killed thousands of sentient beings. They had revealed themselves to be far more dangerous than anyone suspected. The Krell survivors reached their empire 2 weeks ago. Webb began. Our long-range sensors detected their arrival at their capital world. Since then, we have been monitoring all electromagnetic transmissions from Krell space. They are talking about us. A lot. He activated the main display. Alien text scrolled across the screen, translated into English. These are intercepted messages from Krell military channels. They are arguing. Some want to send a larger fleet to avenge their defeat. Others are calling for caution. Many are questioning whether the Dominion should avoid Earth entirely. The Australian delegate raised her hand. What about Overlord Thrain? What happened to him? He was court-martialed, Webb replied. The Krell execute commanders who lose more than 10% of their forces. Thrain lost 60%. He was executed 3 days ago. A murmur ran through the chamber. The Japanese delegate spoke. We killed him. Not directly, but our victory led to his death. War has consequences, General Reeves said, stepping forward. We did not start this conflict. Thrain came to our system with 900 warships. He demanded our surrender. He laughed at our warning. His death is the result of his own choices. But it is not just the Krell who know about us now, Webb continued. We have detected transmissions from 17 other species. The word is spreading. Humanity is no longer unknown. The galaxy is talking about what happened here. He pulled up new data. Some species are sending diplomatic messages requesting peaceful contact. Others are marking our system as dangerous territory. A few seem to be considering us as potential allies. The galaxy is reacting to our display of strength. The German delegate stood. So what do we do now? Do we hide? Do we reach out? Do we prepare for more attacks? President Webb looked around the chamber. Every face showed uncertainty. They had prepared for invasion. They had built weapons to survive. But they had not prepared for what came after victory. We need to decide who we want to be, Webb said. We showed the galaxy that we can fight. We proved that we will defend ourselves. Now we need to show them that we are more than weapons. We need to show them that we can build as well as destroy. General Reeves activated a presentation she had prepared. Images appeared showing the solar system, but now the focus was different. For 150 years, we built Silent Sentinel in secret. We weaponized everything. But we also developed incredible technology in the process. Gravitational manipulation, quantum phase systems, advanced AI, neural networks, solar energy collection. We created all of this for war, but it has peaceful applications too. She showed new images. Imagine using gravitational technology to move asteroids safely. We could mine resources without risk. We could build space habitats more easily. Imagine using quantum systems for communication. We could send messages instantly across light years. Imagine using solar collection not for weapons but for power. We could provide unlimited energy to every human settlement. The Brazilian delegate nodded thoughtfully. You are saying we should transform our weapons into tools. Exactly, Reeves confirmed. We cannot unmake what we built. Silent Sentinel will always exist. It must exist to protect us. But we can show the galaxy that we are not just warriors. We are builders. We are scientists. We are explorers. President Webb took over. I propose we send a message to the galaxy. Not through actions or weapons this time, but through words. We tell them our story. We tell them where we came from and why we built what we built. We give them context. He began drafting the message on the main screen, and the council helped him refine it. After 2 hours of debate and revision, they had something everyone could agree on. Webb recorded the message in the council chamber, surrounded by representatives from every nation on Earth. To all species who can hear this transmission, Webb began, his voice steady and clear. I am President Marcus Webb of the United Terran Council. By now, many of you have heard about what happened when the Krell Dominion attacked our solar system. You have heard that we destroyed hundreds of their ships. You have heard that we forced their retreat. Some of you may wonder who we are and why we are so dangerous. He paused, letting his words carry weight. We are humans. We come from a small planet orbiting an average star. 200 years ago, we nearly destroyed ourselves. We fought terrible wars using nuclear weapons, biological agents, and chemical warfare. We killed 5 billion of our own people. Our planet burned. Our cities turned to ash. We stood at the edge of extinction. Images appeared on the screen behind him. Historical footage from the last war. Mushroom clouds rising over cities. Refugees fleeing through radioactive wasteland. Mass graves, hospitals overflowing with the dying. But we survived, Webb continued. Those who remained looked at what we had done and asked ourselves, how do we prevent this from ever happening again? We made a decision. We chose to unite. Every nation, every culture, every people on Earth came together. We formed the United Terran Council. We swore we would never again turn our weapons on each other. More images appeared. The signing of the Unity Accord. The construction of New Geneva. Nations dismantling their nuclear arsenals and pooling resources into space exploration. We went to space with hope, Webb said. We believed the universe would be peaceful. We believed that intelligent species would resolve conflicts through dialogue. We were hopeful, but we were not naive. We remembered what we had learned. We remembered that peace requires strength. We remembered that survival requires preparation. The images changed, showing the construction of Silent Sentinel over decades. We built our defenses in secret. We did not do this to threaten anyone. We did it to ensure that what happened to us in the last war could never be inflicted on us by outsiders. We turned our solar system into a fortress not because we wanted war, but because we wanted to survive. General Reeves appeared beside him in the recording. When Overlord Thrain came to our system, we gave him a warning. We told him to leave or perish. We meant every word. He chose to ignore that warning. He sent 500 warships to attack our homeworld. What happened next was not murder. It was defense, Webb nodded. We understand that many of you may fear us now. You may see us as dangerous. You may wonder if we will use our weapons aggressively. Let me be absolutely clear. We will never attack unprovoked. We will never invade another species' territory. We will never seek to build an empire. Those are not our values. He leaned toward the camera. But if anyone attacks us, if anyone threatens our people, if anyone tries to conquer us, we will respond with overwhelming force. This is not a threat. This is a promise. A warning. We hope we never have to fight again. But we are ready if we must. The message shifted tone. We also want you to know that we are more than warriors. We are scientists. We are artists. We are philosophers. We have music, literature, art, and culture spanning thousands of years. We have questions about the universe. We seek knowledge. We want to learn. Images of Earth's beauty appeared. Mountains, oceans, forests, cities. This is our home. We love it. We will protect it. But we also want to share it with those who come in peace. We are willing to establish diplomatic relations with any species that respects our sovereignty. We are willing to trade technology, culture, and knowledge with those who approach us as equals. President Webb's expression softened. We know our display of military strength has frightened many of you. That was necessary. We had to prove we could not be conquered. But fear is not the foundation we want for galactic relations. We would prefer friendship. We would prefer cooperation. We would prefer peace. So we make this offer, he continued. Any species that wishes to contact us peacefully may do so. We will establish a neutral meeting zone at the edge of our solar system. We will send unarmed diplomatic vessels. We will negotiate in good faith. We want to be part of the galactic community, not isolated from it. General Reeves spoke again. But understand this. If you come to our system with warships, you will be turned away. If you refuse to leave when warned, you will be destroyed. There is no middle ground. Come in peace or do not come at all. The message ended with a final image of Earth rising over the moon's horizon. Beautiful, fragile, worth protecting. The transmission was broadcast on every frequency humanity could generate. It was sent in every direction, spreading out from Earth at the speed of light. It would take years to reach some civilizations. Others would hear it in months. But eventually, everyone would know humanity's story. 3 weeks after the message was sent, Earth received its first response. A species called the Valanthi sent a diplomatic packet. They were a peaceful race of traders and explorers. They had heard about the Battle of Earth. They wanted to establish contact. President Webb authorized the meeting. 2 weeks later, a single Valanthi ship arrived at the neutral zone. It was unarmed, just as promised. A human diplomatic vessel met it there. For the first time, humans and aliens spoke face-to-face in peace rather than war. The Valanthi ambassador was tall and slender, with 4 arms and compound eyes. Through translation technology, communication was possible. The first words the ambassador spoke were simple but profound. "We come in peace. We seek friendship. We respect your strength, but we appreciate your offer of cooperation more." Over the following months, 17 species established contact with Earth. Some were powerful empires that wanted to avoid conflict with humanity. Others were smaller civilizations seeking protection from aggressive neighbors. A few were genuine explorers interested in cultural exchange, but not everyone was pleased. The Krell Dominion, humiliated by their defeat, publicly declared Earth a forbidden zone. Any Krell ship that approached the solar system would be considered traitorous. They could not admit their weakness, so they pretended humans were beneath their notice. Other aggressive species noted humanity's weapons with concern. They began developing countermeasures, preparing for the possibility that one day they might need to fight humans. The galaxy was changing, and Earth was at the center of that change. In the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Reeves stood before a new tactical display. This one showed not just the solar system, but nearby star systems too. Diplomatic channels, trade routes, potential allies, potential threats. President Webb joined her. "What are you thinking, Sophia?" "I am thinking we opened a door we cannot close," she replied. "Before the Battle of Earth, we were isolated, unknown, safe in our obscurity. Now everyone knows where we are. Everyone knows what we can do. We wanted to avoid being conquered, but we might have painted a target on ourselves." Webb nodded slowly. "That is possible. But isolation was never going to last forever. Eventually, someone would find us. Eventually, someone would test us. Better to face that test on our terms than to be caught unprepared." "Do you think we did the right thing?" Reeves asked. "I think we did the only thing," Webb replied. "We gave Thrain a warning. He ignored it. What else could we have done? Surrendered? Allowed humanity to be enslaved? No. We made the right choice, even if it was a hard choice." Reeves looked at the display showing the spreading diplomatic contacts. "What kind of species are we becoming, Marcus? We nearly destroyed ourselves. We built weapons that can destroy others. We killed thousands of aliens who were following their leaders' orders. Are we heroes or monsters?" Webb was quiet for a long moment. "Maybe we are both. Maybe we are survivors. Maybe we are the species that learned from our worst mistakes and used those lessons to protect ourselves. History will judge us. Future generations will decide if we were right. I hope they forgive us," Reeves said softly. "I hope they never need to do what we did," Webb replied. On Earth, schools began teaching a new curriculum. Children learned about the last war. They learned about the Unity Accord. They learned about Silent Sentinel. They learned about the Battle of Earth. Most importantly, they learned why humanity built weapons that could destroy civilizations. One teacher in New Geneva explained it to her students. "We built these weapons not because we love war, but because we experienced war. We know what it means to nearly die as a species. We know the cost of conflict. That knowledge makes us strong. That knowledge makes us cautious. That knowledge makes us appreciate peace more than species who have never faced extinction." A young student raised her hand. "Teacher, if we have weapons that can destroy anyone, why do we not rule the galaxy like the Krell tried to do?" The teacher smiled. "That is an excellent question. The answer is simple. We remember what it was like to be conquered, even if only by ourselves. We remember the pain of war. We would never inflict that on others unless we had no choice. Strength without wisdom is tyranny. Strength with wisdom is protection. So we are protectors?" Another student asked. "We are survivors who became protectors," the teacher corrected. "First we survived ourselves. Then we built defenses to survive others. Now we must learn to help others survive too. That is the next challenge for humanity." In orbit around Earth, construction began on a new station. This one was not a weapon platform disguised as research facility. It was a genuine diplomatic embassy designed to host alien visitors. The station would have environments suitable for different species, translation facilities, cultural exchange centers, meeting rooms for negotiations. Humanity was building bridges instead of weapons for the first time in 150 years. The change felt strange but hopeful. 5 years after the Battle of Earth, President Webb stood before the United Terran Council one final time before his term ended. When I took office, we were unknown. When the Krell attacked, we revealed ourselves. Today, we are part of the galactic community. We have established peaceful relations with 32 species. We have trade agreements with 18 civilizations. We have mutual defense pacts with 7 allies. He paused, looking at the faces around him, but Silent Sentinel remains active. Our weapons remain ready. We have not forgotten the lesson we learned. Peace requires strength. Deterrence prevents war. We will always be ready to defend ourselves. However, he continued, we have also begun sharing our peaceful technologies. Our gravitational systems help others mine asteroids safely. Our quantum communication networks connect distant worlds. Our solar collection technology provides power to colonies that lack resources. We are proving that we are more than weapons. The Council applauded. President Webb smiled. The warning we gave to Overlord Thrain still stands. Leave now or perish. That warning will always stand. But we have added a second message. Come in peace and prosper with us. That message will stand too. In the years that followed, humanity continued to expand. New colonies on distant worlds, new technologies developed through cooperation with alien species, new friendships formed across the stars, but Silent Sentinel never deactivated. The weapons remained in place, hidden but ready. The gravitational nets, the quantum mines, the kinetic platforms, the solar lance, all of it waiting silently for the next threat. Because humanity had learned the most important lesson. Hope for peace. Prepare for war. Never forget that survival requires both strength and wisdom. The galaxy now knew about Earth. They knew about human weapons. They knew about human determination. But most importantly, they knew about human choice. Humanity chose to nearly destroy itself. Then humanity chose to rebuild. Then humanity chose to defend. Then humanity chose to reach out. Every choice had consequences. Every decision shaped the future. And as humanity stepped onto the galactic stage, they carried with them the memory of their worst moments and the hope of their best possibilities. The final warning from Earth echoed across the stars. Leave now or perish. But alongside it traveled another message. Come in peace and we will welcome you. The galaxy was listening, and humanity was ready for whatever came next.